We're live. Anna, can you see me? Okay, I'm live in Flow, but I can't see anything on YouTube yet. Oh, live on YouTube? Oh, great. Okay. We're live. I can't see on YouTube because we're in a different studio, but apparently we are live, so that's great. We're going to get started in a couple of minutes. Just wait for a couple other people to join. I don't know if people can comment to say where they're from. Feel free to do that. I'll try and keep an eye on the comments. Anna's also in the office keeping an eye on comments or any questions that come through. So feel free to jump in and do that if you want to. This is the first time I've gone live on YouTube, so that's exciting, doing something different. I'm going to share my screen as well so that people can have a look at Sparks Flow, the app we're going to talk about today. So we'll get to that. All right, we might get started. And this will be available afterwards as well. So don't stress if you can't make the whole thing, but we're going to be showing lots of really useful stuff today. So it's really lovely to have everyone here. This week is Carers Week, and that's a time that in theory we're recognising those who care, but in reality most people are carrying that role and they're too busy to be recognised because they're caring. So if you've made it here today between shifts and appointments or somewhere just in the middle of everything, showing up is already a lot, so I appreciate it. Today's going to be super relaxed. I don't have any big promises or magic solutions. We're just going to have an honest conversation about something that many families are navigating quietly by themselves, and that's hiring and managing support workers on your own. So if we haven't met yet, my name is Kim Matthews. I'm a mum to 3 incredible neurodiverse children, and they're the reason that all of this began, because like a lot of you, I tried to find the right support for my family, and what seemed like a really simple thing quickly turned into a long list of invisible tasks, like interviewing, hiring, managing, trusting, and occasionally having to let someone go. And as you all know, there's no manual handed out for this when you are given NDIS access. So I learned the hard way through trial and error, and then trying again over a couple of years. And over time, I developed a method that helped to hold everything together. And that led me to start 2 regional support work providers. Later, it led to helping support workers themselves. So I created Sparks Academy, which helps with soft skills for support workers, and Sparks Scribe, which is a shift notes and invoicing app for individual support workers. And it's brought recognition across different communities, but more importantly, it showed me how many families still needed direct support just for them. So that's where Sparks Flow was born. And it's a tool for families who choose not to work with agencies, whether that's by preference or necessity, or simply from burnout and just needing a softer way to carry the load. Because what begins as I'll hire someone to help quickly turns into another job title. So you're then looking at interviews, contracts, rosters, documents, messages, payments, firing people if you need to. And no one's giving you a guidebook or any support around that. It's just a responsibility that you end up with. So we hear families saying things like that it feels like they've accidentally become HR. I don't even know what to ask in an interview. I'm not comfortable sharing my details with strangers off socials. I want to be able to trust people, but I need proof. Where do you get it from? Shifts are changing constantly. I lose track of what the week looks like. And then the stress of letting someone go, that comes up a bit. It feels terrible, even when it's the right thing. So underneath it all, I think there's a quiet wish often that I don't want to use an agency, but I also don't want to do it alone either. So if any of that felt familiar, you're not failing. There's just too much to do and too little support, which is why we created Sparks Flow, and it's why I'm doing this live today. So I want to show you what we've built slowly and carefully, and if it feels helpful for you, we'd love to invite 50 families to try this beta version, the first iteration, for free. There's no pressure. It's just if it helps, if you think this could be something that will help, we'd love for you to use it. And of course, we'd love some feedback. So I'm going to jump in to sharing my screen in just a sec. So share screen. And I want to share this one. Did that work? Probably not. Share screen. This one. No, this one. Okay. All right. I think that's working now. Let me have a look. Okay, great. So this is Sparks Flow. All I've done is logged in from the login page, which is on our website. When you go to sparksflow.app, the usual thing will come up. It'll tell you a little bit about it. You log in and here's where we land. So this is how we start in Sparks Flow. Start your journey, share a little bit about your life at your place, and we'll guide you from there. So we'll start our journey here. And the idea is that you're going to be just sharing a little bit about you, and we can use that information to put together some really easy ads for when you need to find support. So I'm going to say, yep, I'm a parent or guardian. You could say you're a family member or a service provider, but I'm a parent or guardian. I'm going to use all just made up details. So Sarah's between those ages, 13 to 17. We live at home. And what are some of the things that Sarah needs help with, or that I need help with? Daily living, social activities, appointments. Yep. I'm looking for somebody under core support and maybe community participation. And I'm going to be looking for 10 to 25 hours a week. Straight away. Now our budget is going to be $65 plus, and we're on the Sunshine Coast. Almost there. tell us about your situation. So obviously I've just made that up. Sarah is 15 years old, ASD, ADHD, needs assistance with routine, communication, social skills and appointments. So that's where you could put just whatever it is about the person who's in your life, even if it's yourself, and it doesn't have to be formal. It can just be dot points or as easy as you need it. So what happens next is we'll create a personalized job ad based on your needs. We're going to have AI screen the candidates, and I'm going to show you that. That's really, really exciting because it takes a lot of the work away from you. You're going to set up a custom @sparksflow.app email for applicants so that you don't put your own email and your own name out there. And we can generate employment contracts if and when you need them. Sometimes you don't need them. Okay, we're all set. So I've already set my SparksFlow email address. It's Kim @ and you can use any word. So it doesn't have to be identifying you at all. And that's the idea, is to maintain your privacy. So let's go and create a job ad. Okay, here's our job ad for Sarah. So based on our assessment, here are all the things about Sarah. And this is what it's going to do. So we're going to generate our job ad. And of course, everything that's created is able to be edited. So if you don't like the way it's written, you can update it, change a couple of words, or if it fits the bill, you can just copy and paste it. So this is the job ad that Flow has created based on what I've told it. So obviously, if you give it more details, it's going to be able to give you a more detailed description. Urgent support worker wanted for a 15-year-old in Sunshine Coast. We need a compassionate individual to support a teenager with ASD, ADHD in their home. The role involves helping with routine daily tasks, personal care, community access, as well as fostering social and communication skills. Flexible hours ranging between 10 and 25 hours a week are available with immediate start. Candidates must have previous experience, and so on and so forth. And then we get down to here, please send your resume and any supporting documentation to kim@sparksflow.app. So there's also a shorter version here. So you can choose which way you're going to go there. So we'll just save that. Okay, so there's our job. So let's assume we've copied and pasted that into a support workers group on Facebook looking for a support worker for Sarah. So what's going to happen is, remember, we've got the kim@sparksflow.app email address, or the whatever you choose @sparksflow.app. So you can go on anonymously. Nobody knows who you are, and you can have that chance to look through those without getting inundated with messages. So when we hop over to applications, I've already done a couple, but I'm going to do one now. I'm going to send one now and show you how it works. But this is what it will look like. So we've had an application from Jake Turner. Now these are completely made up. And it'll tell you a little bit about the support worker based on what they've put in their resume, CV, and cover letter, and whatever they've written in the email. So it takes all of that and it has a look to see, okay, do we have what we need? Okay, Jake doesn't have a working with children check. He doesn't have an NDIS worker screening check or a criminal history check. Doesn't have a Cert 3. He does have a first aid certificate. So we can then hop in there and have a bit more of a detailed look at Jake. Now, it's come from my email address, so that's why that's there. The AI rating has given it a 2 out of 5 because we're missing a lot of stuff. But that's not to say that Jake doesn't have it. Maybe he's just not very good at writing resumes. So this gives you a little bit about Jake, the strengths, the areas that need a bit of attention, contact details, experience, qualifications are here, and then any documents that Jake may have attached. So that's his resume that he attached, but he may have also put all these other documents in there, and that'll show up there if they're attached to that email. So let's assume that we're we're going to interview him. So again, the summary, we can see what we're missing. We can see his strengths. Now what we've got here is a phone script. And if you're using your smartphone, for example, you can just press call and that's going to call him, or you can choose to do it via email. And it just gives you an idea of what to say. Because sometimes if you haven't interviewed before, or if you're super burnt out and tired, this is the last thing you want to be doing. So here are some of the things you need to discuss. You can schedule this interview with Jake here and send a confirmation to him via email here. And it'll show him basically, thanks for applying for the job. Here's where it's going to be at. Here's the time. Here's your confirmation. See you there. So let's jump into, we're now at the interview process. And this is also available over here on that menu. So we're going to interview Jake. Okay, so we've included 8 questions, and you can edit these questions or you can add your own questions. So each of these is editable. So we're looking for green flags and red flags, basically. Tell me about yourself and why you're interested in this role. And it gives you, what would a good answer include? So we're looking for genuine interest, understanding of the role, personal connection to disability support, and then it's going to show you some green flags and perhaps some red flags as well. And that's the case for each question. So we've got our 8 questions there that cover off on getting to know you, experience and skills, communication, problem solving, values and ethics, learning and growth, availability, and then a final assessment. So we'll run through that. And of course, you can add your own custom questions here. Open-ended, yes, no, multiple choice. And we're just trying to make it as easy as possible so that when you're interviewing, let's say you're using an iPad, it's just a matter of tick and flick. I'll show you now what that's going to look like. Okay, so we're ready to start this interview. So you can see here we've got a slide bar so that you can maintain eye contact with your candidate if you would like, or you can just simply quickly look down and give the information that you're taking from this interview. So it's a lot easier than scribbling on a bit of paper or trying to remember afterwards. So tell me about yourself and why you're interested in this role. Let's say that Jake really seemed to care, had personal motivation, and his communication skills were great. So let's give Jake a 4 out of 5. And then you can also make any notes about them as well. Number 2, can you share an example of how you've helped someone in their daily activities? All right, let's say he's a 3 out of 5. He shows patience, respects dignity, person-centered, but let's say not a lot of experience. All right, how would you communicate with someone about something they might not want to do? Let's give him another 3 out of 5. Respectful, offers choices, patient, but again, not a lot of experience. And we'll try and move through these quickly. What would you do if someone became further upset or frustrated? Let's say he doesn't know the limits, but he stays calm. How do you ensure someone's privacy and dignity while providing support? Let's say he does a good job of that. Appropriate boundaries, promotes independence. Okay, how do you handle situations when you don't know something or make a mistake? Let's see, admits when unsure, asks for help, still not a lot of experience. But Jake seems okay so far. Can you commit to the hours we discussed? So hopefully you discussed some potential hours on the phone, but if you didn't, that's okay. Let's say he's cool with those. He understands the schedule, has reliable transport, is punctual, and can be flexible. And now this is for you. Do you have any questions about me or the participant or me or the role? So you're asking him, do you have any questions? Let's say he has some really good questions. You think he's a cultural fit, the participant would like them, the family would trust them, professional boundaries, genuine interest, and he's a good listener. It's just about the experience. So we're going to complete that now. And the next thing that we're going to do is a comprehensive AI analysis. So AI is going to take all that information, everything it knows about Jake and you, and it's going to give us a really good output of a balanced view of how that interview went and what are some possible next steps. And of course, you always trust yourself and your gut because that's usually right. So here we go. We've had one concern noted, but overall we were pretty good. So the candidate demonstrates a strong understanding of person-centered care principles with a genuine interest in the role. They show empathy and patience, which are crucial for a support worker position. So experience level is good. The candidate appears to be a good cultural fit, so on and so forth. Areas of concern: potential lack of experience in setting boundaries, need to demonstrate more proactive problem-solving skills. So it's showing that we have strong potential. However, further assessment might be needed. So this is going to come down to whether you think he's a good fit or not. So I'm going to say, yep, we think he was a good fit. We're going to hire him. Are you sure you want to mark this as hired? Yeah, we're going to hire him. So once we've hired Jake, we're going to have a look over here. And here he is as a support worker. So he's turned up as a support worker in our staffing list. So from here, we can do regular check-ins with Jake and we can monitor his performance. So if something happens and you're not sure, or if you think, oh, I'm not sure if that was okay, let's click on AI red flags. So we're going to file a new assessment and we're going to say what happened. Okay, something's happened with Jake. He's turned up and he seemed distracted, had his phone on, checking his phone, sometimes late. And let's see what AI says. Let's see what the red flag assessment is going to tell us about what to do or a possible solution. This one takes a little longer because it's consulting a couple of different areas and it's also creating records in a couple of different areas as well. Okay, so Jake, yeah, it's a medium concern and it's valid that we should take a little bit further action. So the recommendation is to engage Jake in an open conversation and try and understand any underlying issues he might be facing. And you can implement an immediate performance improvement plan and provide additional training or support and also regular monitoring. So here's some resources that you can use in person or on the phone. We've got a script here. You could even text that as well. There's an email template with the same, and your performance check-in is also here as well. So we can add in a checklist, we can add in a meeting agenda, incident documentation if needed, and a follow-up schedule. So that just helps you get the documentation together, like the proof together. If you're going to say, listen, Jake, it's not working out, you've got all of this there, and you're also not second guessing yourself that, oh, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. You can look back across any incidents or any concerns that you've had across the relationship with the support worker, and they don't see this, obviously, this is just for you. And you can really have a look and say, actually, this is getting too much. We've had 5 different assessments that I've put through in the last 2 months. This, yeah, it's not nothing. So then if there's no improvement after we've worked with Jake and talked to him and given him some solutions, then we've got an escalation path for termination. Now, most people are casual, but you still have to follow a framework in letting people go. So we've got everything there that you need. So we'll jump back to back into our support workers. So you can do a check-in as well. And this is a really good idea to keep that communication flowing between support and you, basically. So it's just running through, let's do a monthly review. How are we rating their mood today? Yeah, they're all right. How'd you rate their performance? Below average. any goals you discussed, any feedback provided, and additional notes, and then you can complete that, and that just stores against their name. The other thing we can do is monitoring. So you can monitor, did they arrive on time? Did they follow the plan? Are they professional? And then that is also going to go against their profile. So you can see you've got, if you want to use this part, you've got a full performance management a full performance management tool here, so that you can keep track of what's going on. Because when you've got especially more than 1 or 2 support workers, it's a lot. It's a full-time job managing them, and sometimes you're so tired, you might not be the person in the room. So this is useful if you're not there that day, but say your partner or somebody else was there and wanted to record this, then you can both look at it at a later time. So it's not about micromanaging, it's about knowing what's happening with the people who are caring for you or your loved one. So from there, so we've got Jake, he's okay, he's managed to pull himself together. Or worth saying, you can also end support here. So when you end support, Jake will end up over here in terminated. So Jake's okay. Now we want to make sure that we can book him into some shifts. So this is your shift management system. And all you do to create a new shift, you can either click on the day or you can click on that button that I just clicked on, and your list of support workers will turn up here. So Jake's there. We're going to say it's a home shift. We're going to say it's requested because we haven't asked him yet, but we're going to. It's at home, and we'll say it's the usual routine. When do we want it for? Let's see if we can get him for Thursday at 10 a.m. And it'll finish on Thursday at, let's say, 1:30 p.m. Okay. So what we can do is 2 things. We can create that shift. Say if Jake's right in front of you and you say, look, I'm just going to put that shift in now. Great. He's agreed to it. You've created it. It's in the diary. Or if you're at home and you're trying to plan your week and he's not there, you can create and request a confirmation. So create and request a confirmation. And what that does is create a text message. Hi, Jake, please confirm or decline your shift here. So Jake will receive that link, and in a text message, he can click on that and say yes or no. And that will immediately come back to you, and that shift will move to approved. So that'll become a shift and you'll know, yep, he's in there for that shift. So here he is. So we've created that shift. Now, had I sent it to Jake, that would have turned green. But that number that's been created for Jake probably does belong to someone, so we won't send that. But it's as simple as that. Now you can do recurring shifts. You can obviously run a huge team here. Multiple family members can log in and check what's happening in the calendar. And it's a simple single place to keep everything so that you're not getting confused. There's no notes on fridges. There's no, forgetting to update shifts. You can do it all in here, and you can let your support worker know right then and there, this is what we need, and they can come back to you and say, yes, I can do it. So I think we all know the feeling of trying to hunt around for support and texting back and forth and wondering if they can do it or not. With this, you just send it. It's very clear, and they can come back and you can be doing something else. You can be at work or whatever else you're doing, and that shift can be approved and put into the calendar. So yeah, that's that. So you can have multiple participants as well. So we have Sarah, but maybe you have more than one participant who is living in your home or that you're caring for. So you can add multiple participants and use the same system, so they'll have their own support workers and they'll show up differently in the calendar, so you know who's doing what all the time. So that's just a little snapshot of flow. We also have contracts if you're going to be employing part-time or full-time, or if you just prefer to have an employment contract that you're handing out, then you can do that there. probably fewer people are going to be using that, but it's there for you because, as we know, a support worker is the one who's supplying the service agreement, and that's a collaboration between the two people, but the support worker is going to hold that, and you give your feedback and come to an agreement about what's in that service agreement. But this is just another way to make the employment contract clear, or the employment agreement clear. And we've just put that in there because I know some people do run permanent part-time or full-time employees. So that is Sparks Flow in a nutshell. I'm going to sign out and show you the landing page. So it's very simple. Just gives you a brief of everything about it. Why not to use Maple or Higher Up, or why that might not suit you is probably a better way of putting that. There's no fees involved for the support worker in Flow. There's just a single payment once a year, $249, and then an extra amount if you're going to be doing the SMS as well, because obviously SMS costs money. But that's it. And so we are looking for those 50 families who feel like, yes, this is what I've been looking for, to just try it for us free of charge. So I'd really appreciate anyone, even if it's not you, if you think, oh yeah, my sister would love that, or whoever, send them our way. We're really excited to be able to share this with people, because this is literally what I needed when I first started. So I'm really, just so happy to have it out in the world and be sharing it with people. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm always around via email, so if you wanted to come through to our email, you can. Best place to get me is info@sparksacademy.com.au, and I'll come back to you with any information or answers to any questions that you have. So thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. If there's something I've missed, or if there's something that you would like me to go into further or more slowly, please just get in touch, and I'm happy to do some shorter videos, and I will do some shorter videos once we have Flow out to subscribers. We'll be running very short, how to do this part, how to do this part, how to add an employee. All of that will be in short videos on YouTube as well. So yeah, feel free to get in touch. But again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate it.